Hey guys, this is Jessica. Welcome back to my channel. I'm literally walking out to my barn right now to go do some chores and different things like that, but I wanted to hop on here really quick and do a little intro for this next video. I've been working on a few of these little projects of just some things that I've gathered from thrift stores, antique shops, things like that I'm kind of reinventing. So I'm going to show you how I do some of that right now. And also I just want to do a quick little segment of something that I call like share the love. And basically that's where I have discovered new channels, different things like that, and I want to make sure that you guys are aware of this. So I have a friend, a longtime friend that I've had for quite a while. His name's Jay, and him and his wife have done a new YouTube channel called The Sunny Mooners. And basically what they've done is they've decided to hop in their van and do an adventure going about different places like Yellowstone and things like that, and they're basically living out of their van and hiking and doing some really cool things. So I'm going to put their account below here to link that. If you're interested in anything like that, definitely check it out. They have some beautiful scenery of some things that they've already gone and looked at, and have some really cool ideas of how they've redone their van, of how they can live out of that. So if you're looking for a different kind of channel of something to check out, definitely check out that below. And without further ado, we'll get into doing today's DIYs. So the first piece I'm working on is this little box that I got. It's kind of a darker color and it doesn't really go with my style, so I have some leftover DIY paint in Sandy Blonde, so I thought I'd just paint a couple coats on that and then kind of distress some of the medallion areas to kind of bring that through. I love how Jamie and Zeb do this. You can really take any piece and kind of transform it into a piece that you love for your own house with just a little bit of paint. I will end up brushing some wax over this just to give it a nice coat of something to protect it. One of the easy things about DIY paint is that it's really easy to distress back, especially if you just let it dry just a little bit and it's still kind of wet. It's really easy to wipe off. Sometimes I love just using these little boxes for storage. You can put them in closets or different things like that, and it just makes so much more interesting element than, say, just a little plastic box. Next, I picked up this torn pillow from Hobby Lobby. It was over in their clearance section. I think I got it for like $1, and it was originally $20. I do say that's one of my little tips that I would like to recommend, is always go over to clearance sections of places and just kind of see what items they have that you could maybe repurpose and use. So I'm going to reuse this old pillowcase, and then I also found this shirt at the thrift store, and I really liked the fabric. It has like, it almost reminds me of hobnail glass, and so I wanted to recover this since it was already ripped. And this particular cover for this pillow had a zipper in it, so I was going to remove that as well and make this a removable piece. So I'm just kind of cutting my fabric here, and you can do this with a lot of different shirt fabrics. The back piece usually has the most fabric on it for you to be able to use to make a pillow cover. And then I usually, reuse the sleeves and the front part or anything else that's salvageable. So when I'm making my piece here, I cut my pillowcase a little bit bigger than the original pillowcase. I like to add just like a 1/4 inch seam to everything. That way when I'm putting it together, it'll make it really easy. And here you can see I've already attached both of the pieces together, and I've just used my serger machine to do that, or you could also just use a zigzag stitch. Next, I'm going to take the sleeves, and I want to add a little bit more detail onto this, so I want to do some ruffles. So I'm just cutting some 2-inch strips out here, and I'm going to sew those all together and then fold over one of my edge pieces to kind of create my edge there, and then I'll end up taking that to my sewing machine and showing you guys how to create a ruffle. As you can see here, I've already stitched this together. I folded down my edge piece twice and I've sewn that on the edge just to kind of give it a nice clean edge there. And to do my ruffle, I'm going to take that over to my sewing machine and I'm going to pull an extra piece out because that way it gives me more thread to adjust my ruffle on. I'm going to put it at my highest tension and my longest stitch length, and that's going to create a ruffle gather as you start to sew it here. Usually when you're doing a ruffle, you're going to measure the outside of whatever the piece you're putting it on there. So for example, if I'm doing my pillow, I'm going to measure all of the sides all the way around, and then I'm going to multiply that by at least 2.5, and that's going to be how much fabric you're going to need to make a ruffle. Once I'm done with it, once again, I'm going to make sure I pull my thread way out and then cut it off so that I have more of an excess, and then I can adjust my ruffle as needed. Next, I found this cool little piece of pottery. It's just a little vase. It doesn't have a mark on it, but I wanted to kind of dress this up more of my style that I wanted to try. And I'm going to also take some clay here, and I really wanted to try out my new mold here. I've had this for a little while. I'm not sure if they still carry this on JB Ray Vintage, but she does have a lot of other really neat molds, IOD molds that you can use. So I'm just going to do some cornstarch here. This is what Jamie and Zeb suggest. And I'm going to apply some of my clay here. I got my clay off of Amazon. They recommend to use air dry clay. And when I ordered it, I thought I ordered the white, but I ended up getting the terracotta, which really actually ended up being a nice little surprise. And it's not really that big a deal because if you're gonna paint it anyway, it's not anything that you're gonna see. So I'm just taking a small amount and I'm just pressing this down into the mold here, and the cornstarch helps it from sticking. And as I go on my edge pieces, you'll see me kind of wipe my finger across the edge piece to kind of get that extra clay off. And one of the things I do recommend is while you're working with this, go ahead and put it in a Ziploc bag because it can dry up very quickly. So once I turn it over and get it out, I just kind of tap it a few times, and usually if you have enough cornstarch, it's going to pop right out. And then I'm going to use some Gorilla Glue construction adhesive to apply this on, and it usually dries pretty fast. I'm going to make a couple of these leaf type patterns and put that on there, and then put a little medallion in the middle. I really love using these molds. This is my first time using these, but a lot of them are really detailed and have really neat features in them. It's kind of hard to see from this angle, but I'll do a little bit of close up here. Usually when you're putting them on, you just want to be really gentle when you're pressing it down because you don't want to press away that pattern that's already in it. Next, I'm just going to take some chalk paint that I had in the Waverly brand in the moss color, and I'm just going to paint all over my vase here. Originally, I was just going to paint my clay molds here all the way across, but then I kind of liked the look that it gave a little bit of that red terracotta peeking out. So I wanted to leave that because you can kind of see more of the details on there. But either way, you know, if you painted it all the way over, it, you know, makes it look like it was one cohesive piece. For my next piece, I am taking these little old vintage berry boxes. You may have seen this on a previous haul that I did. I got these for a couple dollars at an antique shop, and I'm taking the leftover parts of my pillowcase here. This part was just the top piece that was folded over, so I unstitched it and took it out so that I could use every square inch of this fabric. And I'm going to make some little inserts for these so that I can kind of use them for little storage boxes. So I'm just measuring the outside of it, which I'm going to make it a little bit bigger because I want the piece to fold over. So if it's taller, I'm going to make it at least another 1.5 inches longer than what it needs to be. So I'm going to make my pieces 5.5 inches by 6.5. And that's going to give me enough of a lip to hang over to where I can put my cover in there. So I'm going to make 4 of these for each one of my sides, and then I'm just going to zigzag those together. You can see where I zigzag those at the corner. And there's lots of different ways to make these. I just like to use the simpler way. So I'm going to take where my zigzag stitches go together, and I'm going to join those. And then at the bottom there, I'm going to zigzag the bottom. And the top piece, of course, you're going to want to fold down and just single stitch that so that that doesn't unravel. But where I'm showing you here, that's where I'm going to zigzag stitch. So I'm back here, I've already zigzag stitched this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of fold my pockets inward, just the corners, and I'm going to stick that down in my box. So here you've seen I've put this in my box, and I've kind of taken those corners here and I've just laid them on the bottom. And this kind of makes it more kind of hug the sides better. There's other ways to make this, but this is just a simpler way, and nobody's going to see the inside of the box, so they just kind of sit here. You could tack those down if you want, but I just kind of leave them because they don't really bother me. I love finding items from thrift stores or antique stores or any place like that that you can kind of reinvent to these new items that you can use for your home. You don't have to go out and spend a lot of money for different decor items that you like, and you can really put your own spin on them. And I really love how the lighter paint brightened up this box and how some of the distressing showed the details coming through. And my little vase here, I just love how that turned out. I love using these little molds. I can't wait to kind of use them on other pieces as well. You can use them on furniture, other type of boxes, different things like that. And it was really, really simple and easy to use those molds. And I just love the way my little pillow turned out. It is so cute. I love that I was able to repurpose this item that was kind of in a clearance section from being damaged and creating a new little cover to go on it. And one thing I just love is finding unique little ways to add storage to your house that is pretty and decorative. And by making these little insert covers for this, it really dresses these up. They look like some cute little boxes that you got at a little boutique store. And as always, you know me, I just love the vintage element that it brings. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video today. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. That really does help my channel, and that also helps it to reach other people who may not know about my channel. I really appreciate you guys and hope to look forward to doing some more DIYs. I'm definitely working on another project right now. Sorry, that's a plane. We have an airport a little airport that's close to us. So anyway, stay tuned for another cool project that I'm working on. I'm hoping to get that video up soon in the next week. Have a great week, guys.